All right, Football at 4, and it is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It's brought to you by PropSwap, America's sports betting marketplace. Sell your sports bets, take your profit. Find out how. PropSwap.com. Download the PropSwap app today. Trey Thomas, Trey on the Tape. It's a series on InsideTheBirds.com. We're going to get into it. What he learned about the Eagles' run game, offensive line. I've talked a lot about the offensive line. I'm very interested to hear about Trey's takes. Do the Eagles need to get an offensive lineman in the first round? What has he seen? Trey on the Tape, and he joins me right now. Talk a little football at 4 here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. Trey Thomas, welcome, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How about yourself, man?
Everything's good. It's perfect that you're on today. We had a lot of questions regarding the offensive line from our listeners yesterday. You could probably answer better than me. Tell us a little, though. Tell our listeners about your series, Trey on the Tape, which people can find on the Inside the Birds platform.
It's just something where I just go through and just break down games. You know, it's always something that I do in my downtime. I'm always watching the Eagles and just looking at the X's and O's of it and the game planning of it. So it's something that I really enjoy doing, and I just try to teach people the game from an offensive lineman's eye, you know, and that's just pretty much what it is, just a breakdown of film, you know, showing the coach's copy of it, and then kind of getting into the X's and O's of it. I really don't get into too much technical part of it too much just because, you know, I still want people to just understand it. I don't want to start getting too deep into it because then it just kind of gets a little boring.
Well, you can check out the entire 5-show series on the Inside the Birds YouTube platform. It's only on YouTube. You can see Trey there. So let's get into some of the things. Let's start with this. What did you learn about the Eagles' offensive line in the run game last year? I think we all would say, hey, this Eagles' offensive line was really good, and they ran the ball really good. Do they run the ball really good because they have a good offensive line in that area?
Yeah, you have a good offensive line and you have a threat at a quarterback. You know, I think that helps it a lot as well. You know, I mean, you know, when you go back and you look at it, they were running like a lot of inside zone, a lot of zone reads where the quarterback is reading that defensive end. And anytime you talk about, you know, inside zone, outside zone run, when you start to mention Coach Stoutland, that's where he kind of, you know, really turns his game on because he's all about combination blocks. Mate blocking is what he calls it. Combination blocks, getting the guys up to the second level, and then now you're creating a front side hole for the running back and a backside hole. And then if that defensive end comes crashing, you have a quarterback that can read him and then pull it, and now he is scampering out of the backside of it. So I think, yes, you have a good offensive line, but having someone like Jalen Hurts really helps them with the run game as well.
Trey, the left side. I want to get your thoughts on this because Mailata obviously has been a revelation that they found this guy. But would you keep Dickerson next to him? Or do you think that Dickerson ultimately goes back to center when Jason finishes up his career? Or do you keep that duo together on the left side?
Well, you know what? Like I like how, you know, Dickerson came in on the towards the end of the season. You know, when he switched over, I can't remember which game it was when he switched over to the left side because he started off over at the right. But, you know, once he switched over to the left, I think he enjoyed like Mailata did, you know, get a good rapport as the season went on. But I do like it, you know, if you can get Big Isaac back, if you don't trade him, I think having Big Isaac comes back healthy and you can get him past September, you got two animals out there. Even though I like Dickerson's game, but go back and watch Isaac one again and just watch it through a fresh eye. You man, that dude was really nasty out there. So, you know, it's the sticky game that you play. You know what I'm saying? When you're when you're the coach and you have to put together the groups and you're trying to put your best five out there. You know, but I like Dickerson. I like his game. I like his mentality. I like the way he attacks the game. And he's come on strong. But, you know, it's hard to say if you're going to say, all right, we'll bump you back down to center because, you know, you have Isaac can play center as well. And then you have Nate. He's one that's been playing center as well. He's usually been the backup guy.
Now, many people might say that you were the best left tackle in the organization's history. Where is the kid they have now?
Jordan Mailata, I think that, man, he's getting there. You know, I think that, you know, you go back and a lot of people, you know, look at that game against the Raiders and they feel like, oh, that was one of his worst games. Man, when you go back and you really look at that game, yeah, there were some breakdowns because he was hurt. But when you look at the technique that he used in that Raiders game, it was nice. It was clean. He got back in a nice step, used his hands. He shot his hands a lot better, because now that you're hurt a little bit, you have to use those other parts of your game where you can use your arms, use your length. And I felt like he played a lot better in that game than a lot of people would say. But then, I think that there are times that he gets out there and he starts putting his hands down and he's catching everybody, and that creates a problem, especially when you have defensive ends that can give you that butt and go and can give you the spin move and all that other stuff. It creates problems when you're catching.
Now, the offensive line as a whole, you've got a really good unit up there. Brandon Brooks was out all of last year, Trey. Do you think the Eagles need to address the line with one of their 3 picks?
It's hit or miss, you know what I'm saying? Because, then you look at a situation like Dillard, so, I don't know if you need to go ahead and go first round right out the gate, just because, really, because if you take a first rounder, you're pretty much saying he's going to replace someone. So who are you going to replace on that line with that first round pick?
Right.
I
personally agree with you. I think they have, do you like the depth that they have? And they have, because they're going to have to make a decision. What did they with Sayamala? Or, if Kelsey comes back, right, he's going to play center, then what are you going to do with Dickerson, Sayamala? Does somebody sit? Does somebody move to right guard? How do you handle that?
See, if it were me, I would make put Dickerson back over on the right side. Because it seems like he and Lane kind of have the same type of personality. And I think that the more time that they spend together, they would really click, And then for me, I just when I went back and watched Isaac, man, I thought he was lights out. Driscoll, I think is good. He can play both tackle and can bump into guard as well. So, he can kind of handle that as well. But he could be your swing guy. But to me, if Isaac comes back healthy, I put Isaac back in there at left. And then, let Dickerson battle it out over at right guard and see who comes out of that. But I like Dickerson's game.
Now, you just meant something that perked my ears up. You said the personalities. How much does that matter? Like the guy who, who played next to you, Artis Hicks, his personality, does that matter, in terms of meshing, the guy next to you having the same mental as you?
Yeah, absolutely. Because,
and by the way, was it Artis Hicks? I just pulled that one out of my ass. Was that right?
Yeah. Artis Hicks played with me. Artis Hicks was one of my left tackle guards. Then Todd Harriman's. Doug Brzezinski, John Welburn, Jermaine Mayberry.
Those
are all my guys that So, but, when you're out there and you're in space, there are times that things just have to happen. It's a feel. You know what I'm saying? You can't communicate everything. There has to be a certain feeling. There has to be a level of trust that I know that you're going to be there. And I think that's when personalities match and how you get along with them. All of that plays into it, because when I have a game, I tell everybody a lot, my guards made my game so much easier because I knew any DN knew that if they were going to bull rush, if my guards didn't have help, they were coming to take their heads off. If they tried to come with a quick inside move, and my guards were sliding to my side, they're coming to take your head off. So they made my game a lot easier, and I felt like we all had a good rapport on and off the field.
Trey Thomas, Football at 4. Trey, how much does the offensive line allow the play caller to do more?
Yeah, it does. It helps, because that you can trust them. You can pull out a couple plays. You can always, it keeps the playbook open. You don't have to limit yourself. I think that definitely helps, especially when that you have guys that can quick set, that can give you the 7-step drop, they can do the play action. They don't give away their pass. The main thing when it comes to that, when you're talking about offensive line play, is do they give away run versus pass with their stance? And if you got an offensive line that doesn't give away anything, then now that just opens up your playbook because then, you can set guys up with certain different things and, it just takes off from there.
Obviously, you play with McNabb and you have a guy that can move back there. Should the Eagles change how they design protections, or do they, because Jalen Hurts is the guy, the quarterback?
You're not going to – it's all the same. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people be like, well, hey, move the pocket. Let's go those sprint protections. And, that's cool, but at the end of the day, you're still going to get 5-step drops. You're still going to get 7-step drops. You're going to have man. You're going to have slides. So that's just the standard of what's going on in football. You're not going to change it much more than what it already is. Even if, when it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, shit, you're not – I'm sorry, my bad. Sorry about that.
You go.
I mean, you're not calling a play action. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's 3rd and 15. You need to call a 7-step drop, a 5-step drop. So as long as these guys can protect and do what they need to do, you'll be good. Now, I think that what Jalen's athleticism helps him is when there's a breakdown, when someone comes free, when he can scramble and get out of there.
Yeah. So Russell Wilson gets traded today. You saw that, right? He's in Denver now. That just happened. Aaron Rodgers has decided he's going to stay in Green Bay. So really, the NFC has Aaron Rodgers, and then there's a pretty big drop-off, I guess, to the next guy. If Philadelphia can make a call for Watson, should they be in play for that? Or do you just not get involved?
I think I'm good with Hurts. I mean, I think I put more talent around him, and you just ride out with Hurts. I know a lot of people were high on, hey, Russell Wilson. To me, with the way this offense is designed, I wouldn't have seen Russell Wilson making it through the season with us. Just because, you go back and you see how much the quarterback is running. And yeah, Russell Wilson is a scrambler as well, but he's getting up in age, so he can't take the beating that Hurts was taking out there. I mean, you go back and you look at the game against Tampa Bay, he had 8 rushes on a bad ankle or whatever it is he had to have surgery on once the season was over with, and they still ran him. So, I think that if you put a little bit more talent around him, just continue to build a good arsenal around him, and you make sure that your line is tight and he can trust the protection.
Yeah.
I think that Jalen will take off.
Now, obviously, you got Smith. He's a rookie. Rager's been a disappointment. Watkins was a nice player. Goddard, very solid at tight end. Are they one wide receiver on offense? Do they just need one wide receiver to kind of take this offense to another level? Is that all they need on the offensive side of the ball?
I don't know. You can never have too many weapons, I guess. Another good receiver would be perfect. Of course, you could. The more weapons you have out there, that receiver is all good. Do you find a big bruising back, someone that can get you those hard downs? Even though I like what they have in the backfield as well. But the more weapons you can put around Jalen Hurts, and you can go out there and open up the arsenal for him, the better it is.
Talking with Trey Thomas Football 4, we look at the offense. What is your feeling on the linebacker position in today's game? Obviously, this team doesn't really value the linebacker much, but is that going to change? Do they see the league changing and that they might have to change with it?
Well, everybody's playing nickel. You know what I'm saying? So it's the true 4-3, middle linebacker. Jeremiah Trotter, downhill guy, doesn't really exist anymore.
No.
They got to get out there and cover those backs, and you're going to spread them out, and everybody's playing nickel, so you got to be able to hold your own when it comes to coverage. So it's just a style of play right now. No one's going to line up in a true 4-3 anymore and come down. Everybody's playing nickel because that's what the offense are going to present, and it makes everybody spread out.
Yeah, when Quentin Michael was on a couple of weeks ago, I said, where would Trey Thomas play? Not Trey Thomas. Where would Jeremiah Trotter play in today's NFL? And you don't have an answer. Like those old middle linebackers, like what position would they be in today's game?
Probably a DN.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, get your hand in the dirt. You get out there and coverage every now and then, but I need you to bring the rush because now, it's all about being able to cover some of those backside of the backfield, and they're going to spread you out. No one is getting in a true I formation too much anymore.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not happening.
Nope, not at all. We're not seeing that. But, all right, Trey Thomas, they got 3 picks on 15, 16, 17. Do you, in your mind, have what you would like to see them add with those 3 areas?
I have no idea. I have no idea. No? I don't get into the draft.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't care. Like, go get whoever you feel is the best, and then let's work with them when they get here.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I think your mindset is probably a good one because they got a lot of holes, especially on defense, right? The defense needs some help. They need some tweaks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you need an edge rusher out there. You need someone that can get after it. And then, of course, and then you always say linebacker play. So, and then, let's see what you can do at safety as well. So who knows? I really don't get into the draft just because it's such a crapshoot. You just really never know how everybody's going to produce.
Now, speaking of the draft, I'll never forget 1998. I was playing basketball. Now I went to West Virginia. I'm in Morgantown, West Virginia, playing basketball. We had the draft on the radio, and the Eagles pick came up. We all thought it was going to be Randy Moss.
Yeah.
and it was Trey Thomas. And I
Yeah,
will tell you,
everybody was like, "Oh, damn!"
the
We got crazy.
disappointment at that moment, young me was, but then it overcame when you turned into be a hell of a player, man. So it was fun
Appreciate it.
watching you. And his series, you can check it out on the Inside the Birds platform. It's 5 shows in the series on the Inside the Birds. It's Trey on tape. Trey on the tape. Check it out over at Inside the Birds YouTube channel. And very good conversation on the Eagles' offensive line. Trey Thomas here on Football at 4. Trey, thanks so much, man.
All right, anytime, my brother.
All right, good to have him on to talk. We had those questions come in yesterday about offensive line play. You heard Trey there. He kind of agrees with me that he feels like they have enough depth on the offensive line that they don't really have to draft a guy in the first round. We had some people texting in that they would like to see the Eagles. And I keep seeing these mock drafts go Eagles offensive line in the first round, and I don't understand it. And I'm glad that Trey, and he really had glowing things to say about Dickerson, Mailata, and the Eagles offensive line, and what he learned about the run game. So good conversation with Trey Thomas for Football at 4 today on the Sports Bash Live 97.3 ESPN.